Howdy y'all, Galator here, and I'm here for a follow-up video looking at the top 10 zones in the Eastern Kingdoms. And I'm really excited to do this one because, like I said in my last video, hardcore Alliance player in vanilla, so let's jump right in with number 10 on our list. So number 10 on our list is Tirisfal Glade. And for the Horde, this is by far the best starting zone for you to level a character up in. You start out as an undead who wakes up, or I should say, is resurrected in a sense, and has to cope with the fact that you are now undead, and you're now a member of the Forsaken. This is just a really cool, way to start a character. It's great if you're a role player. And yeah, the quests in the zone are actually really fun. So that all adds into the technicality. And the ambience in a little bit. So this zone has a fairly high ambience. It's creepy, it's morose. It's kind of cool because all the architecture is very reminiscent of the human architecture, because this used to be the capital seat of Lordaeron, but everything's decayed. It's all starting to fall apart, and the undead are now roaming the land, the former citizens of Lordaeron. So yeah, number 10, Tirisfal Glade. And at number 9, we're going to have South Shore. And there are a lot of reasons to like South Shore. First of all, this zone feels like it used to be a fairly safe, stable human territory. You have several different human towns. The capital of Dalaran was right next door. But however, when Lordaeron fell, you now have the northern part of the zone falling to the undead, to the Forsaken. So it's now a contested territory. You have people who feel like the land is theirs on both sides. And then it also has the internment camp where they kept the orcs after the first invasion. Dalaran's just a crater, so they've up and left. So it kind of feels like a safe place that lost all of its security. So that adds a ton to the ambience. It's a beautiful zone. Technicality for Alliance, you don't have that many interesting quests. Horde has a few, but really, I have to put this one on the list because South Shore is such like a critical zone to the vanilla WoW experience. Whether you're Alliance or Horde, you were killing some noobs on either side. Alright, at number 9, we have Silverpine Forest. Now, putting ambience aside, this is just a beautiful zone. It's creepy, it's gothic, it's morose, and it is one of the best questing experiences for the Horde, I'll say. Now, I've actually never leveled Horde in vanilla, as I've said so many times, so when I start doing streams, I think one of the first characters I'm going to make is going to be a Horde Undead, just because I want to quest through Tirisfal and Silverpine back to back and really get that experience. But yeah, so technicality very high, the quests are really enjoyable there, and they have a really cool story about the different families that live there and what's happened to the zone since the fall of Lordaeron. You don't really get the whole Gilnean thing yet, but, I mean, come on, this is vanilla, not Cata. Alright, and number 7 is Red Ridge Mountains. And I like Red Ridge because it kind of feels like one of the first zones that's like a frontier zone for the Alliance. It's not well settled, and they're still dealing with the hardships of settling in a new environment. You have, the remnants of the war with the orcs. They're still out in the eastern part of the zone. You have some of the Black Dragonkin. And God, there are so many gnolls in this zone that's pretty much all you kill, just gnolls. But some of the quests seem benign. It's, gather resources, help us cleanse this Murloc problem. I don't know, it's that vanilla WoW experience I keep talking about. You don't feel like the center of the narrative. Instead, you're just an adventurer in the world. And I feel that Red Ridge Mountains does a really good job of representing this. Ambience, it's very high. It's one of the more memorable zones in the Eastern Kingdoms. And technicality is also high. I like that there's one central quest hub, Lakeshire, and that it sends you to a bunch of different towns to do stuff. My actual favorite quest is in this zone, but I'm thinking about making a video just about that quest chain later. At number 6, we have Lockmodeon. And yes, a dwarf zone. I've been waiting so long to finally get one of these. Lockmodeon is beautiful, and I wish I was able to record the footage when it was daytime out, not nighttime in the game. Because Lockmodeon is just beautiful. It has a perfect ambience score. And part of the reason for that is it's not in danger. It's one of the few zones you go into in World of Warcraft, emphasize World of Warcraft, and there's no threat. There's some ogres minding their own business in the northeast. You have some Dark Iron Dwarves on the, I guess, they're on the dam trying to blow it up. So yeah, technically some danger. but there's not like a war going on. There's no recovering from some past horrible thing that's happened to the dwarves. You go to a hunting lodge. You go help some archaeologists. It's just a really pleasant zone, and it's a nice, change of pace coming out of Dune Moreau, which is cold and frigid and harsh, to this beautiful loch. Yes, love this zone, and it was almost higher on this list. At number 5, we have Elwyn Forest. And I know, again, starting zones show up on these lists quite a bit, but they are very, very polished. Now, Elwyn Forest also scores a perfect on ambience. And I can't help it, it's one of the most beautiful zones in Vanilla World of Warcraft. I regret that I didn't film the footage for the zone during the day, because it's like walking through the embodiment of spring. It's just a beautiful forest with beautiful scenery, and you're just helping the locals out with whatever's going wrong. Whether they have some murloc problems, they need some lumber, or they just need some help doing their farming. I mean, it's just a beautiful zone. And maybe you have fond memories of Elwyn Forest because you played a human, as they were the most commonly played race in vanilla, or maybe you just did a little bit too much role-playing in Goldshire. Either way, it lands at number 5 on our list, and it deserves it in every respect. And number 4 is Westfall, which is what the Vanilla WoW demo was at BlizzCon. And it's just like Barrens is the iconic zone for the Horde. Westfall is kind of the iconic zone for the Alliance. It's the second zone you funnel into as a human, and it has such a cool story and a cool ambience. I'm actually surprised it didn't land higher on my list, but I'm very strict with my scoring criteria. So Westfall is a human kingdom. It's very agricultural, it's next to Elwyn Forest, but it's having problems. It's almost as if the Kingdom of Stormwind has completely abandoned the people there. They're left to fend for themselves. So you have some of them, they defect into this sect of highway robbers, if you will, the Defias. And really, they're not bad people. If you think about what they are, it's just the King of Stormwind refused to pay them for the rebuilding of Stormwind. A lot of them were masons, etc. So they went into highway robbery. And now they're terrorizing the farmers, who now are having to defend themselves. And it's just this empty open zone with one tower in the middle. And you look at that one tower as a player, and that's your one point of safety. That's the one point in the entire zone you won't get attacked. And you will get attacked in Westfall. My god, those Harvest Watchers are deadly. And Defias Pillagers, I think they were in the top 5 mobs that kill people? Oh, yeah, Westfall is great. I have wonderful memories of Westfall. Technicality, great. Again, just like Red Ridge did, you have kind of this one quest hub that you feel safe in, and that's Sentinel Hill. And from there, you go out into the zone. And I like that there's some correspondence where you run back to Stormwind and back to Westfall, because it makes it feel like you're actually trying to help the people there, because they actually have this kind of gray moral dilemma going on in the zone. So yeah, Westfall, number 4. So at number 3, I have the Western Plaguelands, and I debated a little bit whether to include the Eastern Plaguelands or the Western ones in this list. Now the Eastern Plaguelands, they're really important from a lore perspective, especially Warcraft 3. But the content there isn't that interesting. Darrowshire is cool, but besides that, it's all endgame oriented. Now the Western Plaguelands, they're interesting. They don't just look all plague-ridden and disgusting. It's actually kind of a beautiful zone. It's autumn. All its orange and red hues, all the leaves are turning, but it's already fallen to the Scourge. So you have the Cult of the Damned concocting more plague and these huge cauldrons on all the farms. You are part of this kind of ragtag group of paladins that are trying to retake the Western Plaguelands. Anderhall is run by a lich, and you also get to meet Chromie for the first time. And then you have the Scarlet Crusaders. So they have one main base, Hearthglen, up north. And it's cool to see them in the outside world, because this is already past Scarlet Monastery. So you've already fought them in a dungeon setting. And unless you play Horde, that's really your only experience with them as an Alliance player up to this point, because you didn't level through Tirisfal Glade. So you meet these fanatics, and they have essentially the same goal you do. They're trying to fight the Scourge. But they're also going to fight you, because they're crazy. They think that you are a Scourge in disguise. And as you delve into the Scarlet Crusade lore, you learn a little bit more about why they feel that way, how they're being deceived. But yeah, it's a really cool zone. It has really kind of deep lore under the surface of it. It's a beautiful zone, but it's also fighting disgusting, plague-ridden Cult of the Damned. So, I don't know, I like that juxtaposition, and if you watched my last video, I like when they can take something and mix it with something else. So in this case, a beautiful autumn theme mixed with fanatics fighting Cult of the Damned. Cool stuff. Alright, at number 2 we have Stranglethorn Vale. And before I ranked it at number 2, I had to sit down and think, was this a really good zone, or is this Stockholm Syndrome? Because you essentially, you enter Stranglethorn Vale around level 30, and you're in some way tied to that damn jungle for the next 20 levels. It chokes you in and doesn't let you go. However, thinking back on it, it's a really cool zone. It's one of the only well-done, dense jungle zones in the game. And I know I'm ignoring Ungaro Crater, but, I mean, come on, that's dinosaurs. That's different. But Stranglethorn Vale's cool, because this is your first experience with troll culture. Not just like frost troll whelps or like random ones that you're killing in the world, but it's a civilization, an ancient civilization. And it's really cool. I mean, obviously they pull from some Aztec kind of themes when they make these troll cities, but it's cool. It's this ancient feeling. You're fighting this ancient race, and they own you. I mean, to be honest, that long trek from the northern Vale all the way down to Booty Bay, you had to run past, I believe, Zanzali? I think it's Zanzali. Someone should correct me. But where the trolls are experimenting with undeath, and they have all this bad voodoo going on. But it's really cool. You experiment with fighting all the trolls through the zone. You have Hemingway's Expedition, which, yes, those quests suck because it's just collecting pages and killing things. But it's fun. You feel like you're a hunter in the jungle. It's a truly unique experience. You also have pirates, which you don't see that much of them in the game. You have Naga, and you just have a shit ton of wildlife. And if you were unfortunate enough to not be a hunter or a night elf that could just feign death or shadow meld, lots of unwanted PvP. Because like I said, this zone ranges from 30 to 50, so when you run in 20, and it's a contested zone and you're on a PvP server, you will get ganked. And that's maybe why this isn't number 1 or my honorable mention, just because I played a paladin, and let me tell you, paladins are really easy to gank in vanilla WoW. So if you are Horde, and you see a paladin leveling, be kind. He has no defense against you. He can bubble and maybe hearth, but that's about it. So this is Stranglethorn at number 2, and a plea for mercy for all the paladins leveling in Stranglethorn Vale. Before we go to number 1, I have a dishonorable mention, and it's almost a joke. It is Deadwind Pass. It's a boring-ass zone. There's nothing in it. There's a couple of vultures that'll kill you if you get too close. Besides that, it's a zone that they were planning to add Karazhan to, and didn't get around to it till Burning Crusade. So it sucks. It actually has a cool ambience, so maybe I shouldn't put it this low. Maybe I should have said, like, I don't know, the Hinterlands or the Wetlands, but whatever. Dishonorable mention, Deadwind Pass. For my honorable mention, I have Dune Moreau. And to be honest up front, it's tied with my number 1 spot, but I feel like I had to not put Dune Moreau at number 1 because I love dwarves, so obviously I love the dwarf starting zone. But Dune Moreau is a snow zone done right. I mean, yes, I love Winter Spring because of a juxtaposition. Dune Moreau does not have that juxtaposition. It doesn't try to be spring-like and friendly. It is cold, it is harsh, it is winter, and it is Scottish. I mean, it's awesome. It's a cool zone. Ambience is perfect, and it also has something I miss in retail WoW, and I am so excited for WoW Classic, is weather effects. Snow zones in vanilla WoW, in case you didn't know, actually had really strong weather effects in the form of snowstorms. And they were kind of loud, and they did actually obscure your visibility quite a bit. But they immersed you so much. Oh, I remember running from cold... Oh my god, okay. I swear I play Dwarf. I always play Dwarf. I'm just blanking on the name of the stupid valley you start in. But running up to Karnos, and you can't see anything. You just feel like you're running through these snow-peaked mountains. You're getting bombarded by the weather. There's Yetis on the side of the road. Ambience, perfect ambience score. I actually cheated and I gave it a slightly above perfect ambient score because I just love it so fucking much. But yeah, Dune Moreau is great. And the quests there, they're kind of fun. I mean, they're just dwarf-like quests. Go steal beer from the Barley Brews. Go steal beer from the Thunder Brews. You have frost troll problems. I wish they would explain frost trolls a little better in the lore. But yeah, Dune Moreau has cool quests, has probably the coolest zone in World of Warcraft, and that is why it's my honorable mention. And in number 1 is Duskwood. So before Battle of Razaroth's Drustvar, Duskwood was the first creepy zone. It kind of had a Halloween-like theme to it. You had skeletons, undeath, werewolves, huge spiders, black wolves, and then just a town trying to survive. And I think that's the coolest part of the ambience. So you run from Redridge, which while it was a frontier kind of place, it wasn't dangerous. Like you felt safe when you were in Lakeshire. But when you run to Darkshire, as the name implies, you don't feel safe. That town is not safe. You actually just have guards wandering around with torches and swords, you know, trying to keep all the threats at bay. And I think one of the coolest things to really get you in that immersion is when Stitches arrives. And for those of you who don't know or remember, Stitches is this huge elite abomination that is spawned on the opposite end of the zone, and he slowly treks down the only main road in the zone. So, if you're a low-level player, as you would be, you know, around level 20, and you're just running along the zone trying to do your quests, and then Stitches arrives, and he just, you know, two-shots you. But what's interesting is he'll work his way all the way down the zone, and then arrive in Darkshire and start fighting the guards, and any unlucky people trying to turn their quests in. So I like that you never felt safe in this zone. It was creepy, dark, dangerous. All the quests had you going to go check on people who weren't in that one semi-safe haven, and it has one of my favorite quests in the entire game. But again, I'll talk about that in another video. But it's overall just a cool zone, and the quests are cool. They have you going to investigate, like I said, the other people in the zone, but you're also trying to fix the zone in some ways. They're like, oh, go to the other end of the zone. We hear there's some necromancy going on. We have some paladins up north, see if you can help them. But overall, it's kind of helpless. Like, the zone is gone. It's done for. But you're doing your best to try to patch it up. It's kind of like Duskwood in the sense that you have, like, these gray and depressing hues, but it's more blue and black. So it's way more depressing and brings you down, which I like. It's a really cool zone. But yes, Duskwood, number 1. Alright guys, let me know what you thought of my ranking. Let me know if you disagreed with any in particular in the comments. I'd love to hear that. And let me know what sort of videos you'd like to see in the future. I've been getting some good comments giving me ideas. I'm definitely going to run with those. And yeah, I hope you enjoy the videos. Au revoir.